Over the years, as I've trained a lot of agents, one question that would come up a lot is, how do I stay organized? I've got escrows, and sometimes you get multiple escrows, and you've got all these people you're talking to and all these things going on. I know that we live in a pretty high-tech world. We've got calendars on our phones and our computers, and we got this, that, and everything all over. But old school is actually what works the best. You can use your online calendars, you can do all that, but I'm going to give you a couple of tips that I think will really help you, especially if you're kind of newer to the business. But even if you're not, this is what's worked for me. I just would carry around a clipboard, and I took it with me everywhere. It was in my car. I took it to the office. Everywhere I went, that clipboard went with me. And whether you end up, have a little bag or something, you got a briefcase or whatever to put the clipboard in, carry the clipboard. Now, what goes on the clipboard is what's important. So what I would do, some days were always my day where I could have a little catch-up day and have a little time to kind of think about my week and get organized. That might be Monday morning for you. It might be Sunday night. It might be a different day. Doesn't matter. I had just a Word document, and what I would do is just, a blank document, and I would just put every day of the week on there. I just put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the calendar. And I would just put those on there and then leave some space between each one. And then what I would do is I would type on there, I would be like, okay, I have a listing appointment at noon on Monday, so I got to put that on there. And then I've got a doctor's appointment on Tuesday, so I'm going to put that on there and the time. And then I would put any hard, fast appointments that I knew I had at the beginning of the week. However, the thing is, about real estate, you've got to be flexible. You got to be fluid, because you get a call and tomorrow you've got an appointment in 15 minutes. You're going to show a house. That's just how it goes, right? So you always have to be ready to roll with that, which is why old school works really well. So I would put everything that I knew was going to be on my schedule for the week, and then anything I wanted to get done. So if that day I was going to work on marketing, I would put on there, my noon appointment, and then I would put work on marketing. So I knew that that's what I had to do that day. That was my focus for the day. And I would do that for every day, whatever I knew that I wanted to do or that was going to be on my schedule. Some days were blank, and you could think of that as like, if nothing comes up, maybe I have a day off. Gosh forbid, right? And then what I would do is I would print that out. So I would print that out, goes on the top of the clipboard. That becomes your top thing on the clipboard. So then what you do is, if you're driving along and all of a sudden you get a phone call and you pull over and someone's like blah, 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 telling you all this stuff, and you're getting a phone number, you're getting a referral, you're getting a listing appointment, you've got a buyer, whatever it is, you can write your notes on your page, and then you've got the phone number, you've got all that, because otherwise you've got slips of paper all over the place. You're going to lose them. One of my agents got this really great buyer one time, and he wrote it all down on a piece of paper, and he lost it. And oh my gosh, and he finally found it just before the lady came into town, but he was just devastated. So that's the thing. You've got to kind of corral things and put them somewhere where you know where they're going to be. And so that's part of just that fluidity of being in real estate. And so you just write all your stuff on there, and then if you book an appointment for Wednesday at 3:00, write it on there. Wednesday, 3:00. You've got every day of the week on there. So you can fill in those blank spaces. That really helps to see everything in a glance that you have to do, whether it's personal stuff or business stuff or whatever, helps keep you focused. And so I would sit down every Sunday, and I would just I would leave the days of the week on there, but I'd clear all the things that I put on there, and then I'd go put the new stuff for the new week, print it out, put it on the top of the clipboard. Now, what else goes on the clipboard? I have this great little escrow, kind of like it's a 2-column thing. And when you get a new escrow, it just goes through like, okay, I've got to do this. I've got to get earnest money. And then I've got to schedule inspections, and I've got to do this. And I've got to make sure the appraisal came in. It goes through everything to get your clients a gift, So you can use it as a little checklist. It's got 2 per page. So, if you've got 5 escrows going, you might have 3 pages. But it'll keep you on track with each escrow that you have just in a glance, so you can see that. Those go on the clipboard. The other thing you should put on the clipboard is, if you have a listing or you have a buyer in contract or working on an offer or something, you should print out the agent detail sheet from the MLS and put those on your clipboard. So I used to carry, 20 to 30 listings at a time. I had the MLS sheet for every one on my clipboard, got kind of thick, for every one of my listings, because what would happen is someone would call. I couldn't remember. When you have multiple listings like that, you can't always remember the year built, the square footage, something like that. A buyer might call you, ask some questions. A buyer's agent might call you and ask some questions. You've got all that right there on the clipboard. And then when you are the opposite side and you've got the buyer in contract, you've got the listing agent's phone number right there. You've got, and then anything that's related to that, if you've got, the escrow company or something like that, you can write those contact information on the actual, MLS listing sheet, and then it keeps it all together. It's all right there. So, and then you could also just throw on a couple of extra blank pieces of paper so that if you are taking notes and you've got this great conversation with going with someone, you're writing all this stuff down, it all is on the clipboard. And then you can go home at the end of every day and you can take your clipboard apart and you can look at the important things you did and make sure you got everything, but it's all on the clipboard. So you won't lose things. You can't really be doing all that stuff, putting it on your phone while you're talking on the phone. That just doesn't work. But this is what I have found over the years. It is one of the most effective things I've ever done. I've sold tons of houses, owned 2 big brokerages, and this is what I've always done to stay organized. And for this industry, this is some of the best advice I can give you. So I will put that sheet there so you can download it, and that's just an escrow, like a little checklist of things. I've got gazillions of checklists. So if you go through our blog and our YouTube channel and all that, you'll find all kinds of little great nuggets in there. But basically, I hope that's helpful for you. That's basically my best advice for staying organized.